Hey, what is going on? It is 12 noon on Wednesday, which means it's time for this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time. And what we're talking about today is building wealth through real estate. And there's a lot of different ways that you can build wealth through real estate, whether you're just a homeowner or you're planning on becoming a homeowner or you want to become an investor in real estate and own lots of real estate, maybe lots of real estate that produces income, maybe an apartment building or maybe an entire apartment community or maybe several thousands of units of apartments in different communities, or maybe you're just trying to get that one single house. We're going to talk about all the different ways it is you could build wealth in real estate, including how you could start from nothing. The elusive no money down type of real estate stuff. And we'll discuss how, although that is hard to achieve, it is possible, but then also some easier ways that kind of leverage that same thought process of the no money down, but result in a much quicker payday typically than if you're trying to just buy real estate with no money down. That's very difficult to do, but still possible. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about real estate as your own personal investment. So if you're buying a house for a home for yourself, how to ensure that you're really taking advantage of as much as possible to make that the best type of investment, and also how you might be able to transition into being more of an investor, because if you're looking to grow your wealth through real estate, it's usually not going to be just through one single property. That's a great place to start out, but as you grow and you start to acquire more properties or transact with more properties, there's so many ways you can make money off of real estate. So let's get to it. I'm John Crismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor.
You are watching Ask the Instructor. Absorb the knowledge. Become the expert.
Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. My name is John Crismo. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate, and what we're talking about today is building wealth through real estate. So let's get right into it, and let's start with the most common way people will typically build wealth through real estate. Maybe not the most wealth. We're going to get into some more advanced strategies later, but the simplest way you could build wealth in real estate is buy a home. And I don't mean a home that you're going to rent out. I mean a place that you're going to live. Now, this is not the best investment of real estate, but at the same time, you need a place to live. And yes, there is a whole set of pros and cons between renting and owning, but renting isn't going to build you any wealth. Renting has its own set of pros for the flexibility, for not locking yourself in, for basically only committing to a year versus for committing for multiple years when you buy a property. So the benefit of renting is flexibility. But if you want to build wealth, renting isn't going to do that. That's going to build wealth for the landlord, but not build wealth for you. So buying a home, although again, it's not the best way to invest in real estate. There are better ways, but if you don't already own a property, you know, it's great to start off with your own home. And here are the ways that you could build wealth. And now a lot of real estate investment gurus out there will say, oh, your home is not an investment. Some as famous as Rich Dad, Poor Dad is, oh, your home is not an investment until you sell it. So many people like to cut that statement short, that your home is not an investment. It is when you sell it. As long as you're making money when you sell it, yes, it is an investment. So really the main name of the game when you're buying a home for yourself is appreciation. Now, what is appreciation? This is when the property value increases over time. Now, why does it increase over time? One of the big factors that causes it to increase over time is inflation. So inflation occurs basically every day, every year, every decade, every century. Inflation continues to rise. And that makes our dollar worth a little bit less, but real estate becomes worth more because it kind of stays in that little bit of equilibrium there with the inflation. Usually it actually appreciates faster than inflation, but that's one of the factors that drives the inflation. Now, other factors, the biggest thing, the best thing you could do for buying your own home and building wealth off of just your home is capital gains, which is related to the appreciation. So what is a capital gain? Capital gain is when you profit. on the sale of something, on the sale of your home, let's say. Now, if this is your home, the place of residence where you live, you can exclude, if you file your taxes jointly, up to $500,000 in capital gains. $500,000 in capital gains exclusions. The catch is that you've got to live in the property for at least 2 years, and if you're not married or you don't file your taxes jointly, you could still get $250,000 of capital gain exclusion, meaning you could make up to that amount. So really the harder issue isn't going to be how do you avoid taxes. If this is your home, your primary residence, and you've lived there for at least 2 years already, the game isn't how do you avoid the taxes. The game is how do you get as close to this $500,000 in profit that you can. And if this is a $200,000-$300,000 house you're buying, you're probably not going to make $500,000 in profit, although it is possible, just maybe not across 2 years. That'd be a lot of money very quickly. But it does happen. So to maximize the capital gain, one of the best ways to do this is through location speculation. Now, what is location speculation? Location speculation is you speculating that this location is going to be worth more at some point in the future. And that's pretty much always true. Real estate is always worth more in the future for the most part, or at least when you look over a long enough period of time. Sometimes you have the dips and ups and downs where if you cut the sentence short again and sell too quickly, you lose the money. That's one of the downsides to this type of real estate investing. And this is very similar to flipping. Flipping just happens on a much faster scale where you're also forcing the appreciation by making improvements to the property that need to be made, but we'll touch on that more in just a second. But if you're buying a home, the best thing you could do to really maximize the return on investment that you get is speculating a great location. Now, here's the problem though with speculation. It's just speculation. You don't know for sure, and that's why this can be it's not really a dangerous way to invest in real estate, because at the end of the day, at the very least, you still have a home, and as long as you can make your mortgage payment still, well, that's keeping a shelter over your head. But it's even better when you can cash in on this appreciation and take advantage of the capital gain exclusion that exists in the IRS tax code. Best way to do that, like I said, would be location speculation, that this is a location that increases in value. And there's a lot of factors you want to look at to try to figure out whether it's jobs coming to an area, whether it's it being a new development. A lot of these areas that are new construction developments, it might not just be 2 years that you get a big jump in value, but maybe it's over 5, 10, maybe even 15 years. But over that period of time, there's a significant jump in value. So this takes a while, and any real estate investment takes a while. That's why you don't want to just have one real estate investment. So something similar to buying a home is to flip a home. Now, when you're flipping a property, let's talk about some of the things you're going to lose. You're going to lose this capital gain exclusion here. Because to qualify for that capital gain exclusion, this has to be your primary residence for 2 years. So you will have to pay capital gain taxes if you're flipping a property. And now the other thing, the inflation, because we're not dealing with a long period of time with a flip is faster. That's the goal, as opposed to buying a home for a homeowner. A flip is going to happen faster, so you're not really going to get the appreciation from inflation occurring. And also the location speculation. So, yes, we have some appreciation, but here's how the appreciation is different when you're flipping a home. We're forcing appreciation. Now, how do we force appreciation? Well, it's not that we're forcing this property to be worth more than what it could be worth. We're forcing this property to be worth what it should be worth. Now, how do you do that? Well, through repairs. Repairs and renovation. That you're fixing the problems with the property, and hopefully you're fixing these problems for less than it cost you. You know, a good rule of thumb, without getting too deep into this, but a good rule of thumb that a lot of investors use is 70%. Now, what do I mean when I say 70%? That you want to buy at 70%. You see this acronym a lot as well, ARV, meaning after repair value. So if this property is going to be worth $100,000, it could be worth $100,000, let's say. That's its potential. You look at this property and you say, if this property was in as good a shape as these other homes surrounding it, it would be worth about $100,000. And so what you'd want to try to do is buy it at some percentage of the after repair value. So let's say we're going to use this 70% number. We're going to try to buy this at 70% of that $70,000. Then that leaves us $30,000 for profit as well as the cost to repair the property. Now, here's the tricky part with flipping a home. Homes aren't always forthcoming with the problems that they're hiding. Even with a good inspector, a good home inspector, they might not find all the issues that exist in a property. And so this is where you see all the time on those home improvement shows of going over budget or having to sacrifice this upgrade for that, or the flip or flop ones where they go spend all this ridiculous amount of money on the property and turns out they can't sell it because they over improve the property. So there's a lot of potential pitfalls to this, and flipping a home, this is actually the type of investing that's the most susceptible to changes in the market. Why? Well, because when you buy this property, let's say you bought this property, you're probably buying it with financing, meaning you have a mortgage payment that you're paying while this property is being repaired. You buy the property, you start paying the mortgage payment while you're repairing the property, and the longer it takes you to repair that property, the more it is you're paying that mortgage without any income coming in. And what happens, especially if your construction costs start to go over budget, if it's taking longer than you expect because of hidden surprises, that keeps the property off the market longer, and then maybe there could be some change in the market that occurs where all of a sudden you're not in that good of a position anymore. Maybe this house goes from being worth what it could have been worth $100,000, maybe it could only be worth about $80,000. And so now you've only got a $10,000 wiggle room if you only paid at 70% of this. So that's why it's really important that you understand the numbers and you really understand your market if you're trying to do anything like this, because you've got to have your pulse on the market to make sure you know exactly what's going to be coming in the next 3 to 6 months, so that way you're not making mistakes right now. They're going to turn out to be mistakes 3 to 6 months from now. So you're trying to buy as carefully as possible, maybe getting this even lower. That's the one surefire way that you could get a good deal. Maybe instead of 70%, you're buying at 60%. Maybe instead of 60%, you're buying at 50% of the value. Even if the value does go down, it's hard to lose money when you're buying a property for half price. So the better deal it is that you get when you purchase the property and acquire it, the more wiggle room you have to factor in for repairs that might not be expected, for if the market goes down, that you've got a little wiggle room in there where you can afford for there to be some market risk for the market to drop off. And if those things don't happen, at the end of the day, you just end up with more profits by buying at a lower price. But that's not easy to do, I should say. That is a whole game in and of itself of trying to get properties, find properties where homeowners are willing to sell them for essentially pennies on the dollar. Now, why would somebody want to sell a property for pennies on the dollar? Because they need to get out of it, because they can't afford it, because they've got whatever going on where even though you might be buying a property at half price, you're providing a helpful solution to them. But now, when it comes to either of these two options of buying a home for your own property or flipping a home, usually this is going to involve some sort of down payment. Now, you might be a veteran and you might qualify for a VA loan with no money down. But if you're not a veteran, chances are you're going to have to put some money down. Now, if you're buying this property for your own home, for your own personal residence, you can take advantage of the FHA loans and loans that are similar to the FHA loans that allow for very low down payment options. And depending on your credit, you could get these percentage of down payment down really low, but it still requires some sort of down payment. And even if you wanted to buy this property and rent it out, you still have to acquire the property in the first place. So my question for you is, what do you do when you don't have money to start any of this? Maybe you've been watching so far and it's like, oh yeah, John, that sounds good. That sounds good. Yes, that makes sense. This makes sense. Yes, it all makes sense until we get to the point of, okay, well, this is going to cost money to do this, that you need money for a down payment. And you're like, oh, wait a minute, I don't have the money for a down payment. Everything makes sense until we run into this one problem. So what is the solution? Well, we somehow get the money for the down payment. But again, another thing that's easier said than done. How do you just save up thousands of dollars over a short period of time? Over a period of time where you could really make sure that you're reaping the full benefits of whatever opportunities it is that you may find. So one of the things that I've suggested before as a way to get involved in real estate without necessarily investing in real estate is to get licensed to assist people through real estate. There is no better way to learn about investing in real estate than learning about investing with real estate through other people with them using their money, where you're there side by side with them, shoulder to shoulder, helping them through the transaction. Now, how do you do that if you don't know anything about investing yet? Well, that's where the knowledge component's going to have to come in. Before you could be a powerful investor, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You have to make the right investments. You have to be smart. That's why people that have tons of money, they don't always do their own investing. A lot of times they're paying somebody else to do the investing for them because they're not an expert in that. So just because you have the money to invest doesn't necessarily make you an expert. So the goal, at least to start out, shouldn't just be, I need money for a down payment so I could buy a property. Well, if you're also trying to qualify for a mortgage loan, not only do you need money for a down payment, you also need income that's documented that'll work for a loan, and then you'll also need a decent enough credit score to be able to qualify a loan. And the better your credit score is, the better the interest rate is, and the less you're having to pay, and the more you increase your return on investment. So those are all factors that are something that you're going to have to work on if you want to get to the point of actually being able to invest in real estate. But then what do you do until then? Let's say you've got some time on your hands and you want to learn about real estate investing even though you're not ready to actually invest in real estate yet. What do? Well, yeah, learn about it. Go get a couple books about investing in real estate. Now, there's a lot of books that are out there that'll say you don't need a real estate license to invest in real estate, and they're 100% correct. It's 100% optional, at least in Florida, for you to have a real estate license for you to buy your own property. Now, even though that's optional, it's not a requirement, I highly recommend that you have a real estate license if you're investing in real estate. There's a lot of myths out there and rumors that it causes a whole lot of issues with you investing in real estate. Look, here's the difference when you have a real estate license. You have to disclose you have a real estate license. You write it in your contracts next to your name, real estate licensee, and then there you go. Now, why does that myth and that excuse exist that, oh, well, if you get a real estate license, you shouldn't do that because that's going to cause problems? That exists to be an excuse for people that do invest in real estate to not go get a real estate license. Because to get the real estate license, you have to study, you have to work at it. There's a required course, there's an exam you have to pass. It's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're trying to juggle running your own real estate business, and if you're already making money, you might say, well, what's the point of that? Well, you might not be in that same position. If you're brand new to real estate and you're not already a powerful real estate investor, and if you were, I would still recommend that, hey, go check out this licensing thing. It's not that big of a deal. It's really not as hard as you make it out to be, because there are benefits that you could get. But if you're brand new, you want to absorb as much information as possible about real estate, and a great way to have a stepping stone that goes from you not knowing anything about real estate to you becoming a real estate investor. So to go from this, nothing, to investor. This isn't just some switch you flip. This isn't just some book that you read. Nothing is going to take you from not knowing anything about real estate to being an investor like that. It's going to be a long process of you going from not understanding anything about real estate to you starting to learn about real estate, you starting to study your market, you starting to understand real estate better, to then getting yourself financially prepared to be able to become an investor. But before you get yourself financially prepared, you have to get yourself mentally prepared. And so to shorten this process, you want to try to align yourself more with the real estate industry, with the real estate space. And that's why I recommend, if you have the dream of someday becoming a real estate investor, but you currently have no idea how you're going to get there, or maybe you've taken some of these investing courses before, the internet's all full of these, hey, how to get rich quick in real estate. Look, real estate isn't a get rich quick game. It's a get rich for sure over time game. It's a sure thing if you do the right things over a long period of time. And maybe you could speed that up. With the right knowledge, you could speed that up a little bit. But it's not a get rich quick. It's not an overnight success type of thing. It's a long process, like anything that's worth going after is. So maybe you've been frustrated by doing one of these courses only to find out, well, I still don't have any money to be able to buy real estate. Yeah, I knew a little bit more about real estate, but then what happens if you take one of these courses and you don't have anything to do with that information? You forget that information. Whereas if you get a real estate license, you're authorized to broker transactions. So as a real estate licensee, what a real estate professional does, you're not necessarily the buyer or the seller in the transaction. You're the middleman, bringing these two parties together. And what that allows you to do is to assist buyers and sellers. And some of these people you may be assisting might also be investors. They probably all are investors, because remember, like we talked about at the beginning, even if you're just buying a property for your own home, for your own purposes, for your own residence, you're still considering yourself an investor because you want to profit. You want to sell the property and have appreciation that gets you that capital gain, which is money you can put in your pocket and do whatever you want with, or reinvest it into your next property, or whatever the case may be. But it's tax-free, capital gain tax-free. It's literally profit that you do not pay taxes on. There's almost no other ways to make money and not have to pay taxes on it. There are a few other ways, but they're extremely limited. And normally these ways to not pay any taxes, 100% avoid and not have to pay any taxes legally, that's usually not available for the everyday person, but through home ownership, it is. And just buying a property to call your home is an investment. It's not going to be an investment while you're spending money on it as your home, but when you go to sell it, yes, as long as you're able to sell it when you make a profit, which there might be a dip in the market. You might buy a property and the market might go down. That happens. But what always happens is after it goes down, it goes back up. It's just a question of how long it takes before it goes back up. So if you could wait it out until it starts to go back up, then once it does start to go back up, you could then recoup your profits out of the property. So it's a pretty surefire way to build wealth through real estate, again, as long as you could time it right. And part of that is it just being patient in the waiting game. Like I said, the get rich quick thing. There might be some big money you can make fast in real estate. I would argue to say that you're going to make faster money selling real estate as a real estate sales associate than you would as an investor. Now, being an investor, being a real estate investor is ultimately going to build you more wealth than practicing real estate would be, but practicing real estate on behalf of others is going to get you those quick paydays. It's going to get you $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 commission checks that you could then set aside, use that to pay down your debt so you could increase your credit score, and then keep setting that money aside so that way you've got money for a down payment, so then you could start investing in real estate and you don't have to worry about trying to figure out if you've got a cousin's brother's nephew that'll let you assume their mortgage so you could buy a property with no money down. Those no money downs, I'm not going to say that they don't exist. They're just unicorns, and they're very difficult to find. So rather than trying to figure out how to do real estate with no money down, because even when you figure out how to do it, you realize how difficult it is to do with no money down, figure out another way to get money brought in. And again, align yourself with what you're already trying to do. If you're trying to be a real estate investor, you should have a real estate license. You should be trying to learn everything you can about real estate. You should be trying to help people buy and sell real estate, because then you get to learn through the lens of others. I've learned so much about real estate by helping people buy and sell real estate, because it helps me get a different perspective on how people view real estate and what things they think are important. And especially as a real estate investor, that really helps you get to know potential customers better. Whether you're doing real estate as flips, or maybe you're buying and holding it to do long-term rentals, that's one of the better ways to invest in real estate, the more secure ways that don't give quite as big of a payday up front, but ultimately will drip you money for as long as you hold that property. That's the big wealth thing that we talk about, especially when you can multiply that across many, many properties. But again, that takes time. Investing in anything, investing is all about patience. So It's the whole thing of trying to create something from nothing. And it's almost impossible to do that through investments, but that's not so impossible when you invest your sweat equity. Now, what is sweat equity? It's you investing your time. You investing your time in whatever it is you're trying to do, and you learning to understand real estate, you studying to get your real estate license so that way you can deeper learn about real estate and start to network with people and meet people that are investing in real estate and meet other realtors that want to invest in real estate as well. Look, that's not some unique thing that we've never heard of as a realtor. Most realtors are real estate investors themselves, and they are usually able to find the best deals because they're out there on the front lines working with customers, and they might find somebody that wants to sell their property and they need to sell it right now. They don't have time to wait when you list it on the market. Well, hey, matter of fact, I'm actually an investor, and rather than we list this on the market, I could give you a cash offer on this property. It won't be as much as if we put it on the market, but it would be a faster sale for you if you're interested. They might not be interested, but you being an investor at least gives them that option. And if they are interested, you have the opportunity to get an amazing deal on a property before anybody else does because you were there first. What other job can you do that's going to put you there? There are a few other ones as well, usually ones that are involving the real estate or housing industry, but if you're not already in that real estate or housing industry, get into it. And if you're already in some related industry, but you don't know about the real estate side of things, or the real estate sales side of things, get your real estate license so you can better understand that. And trust me, there are benefits. The one benefit alone, and the reason why every real estate investor should have a real estate license, is the ability to use your commission towards the closing cost and the down payment. That's 2 to 3% typically of the purchase price that you're getting basically as a rebate because you have a real estate license. You can't do that without a real estate license, whereas if you have a real estate license and this property is in the MLS already with a pre-negotiated commission amount, that's an extra 2 to 3% you could tack right onto your ROI because you're getting that reduced at closing because that would be your commission that you would pay yourself. Unless you're hiring another realtor, well, you're also a realtor, but if you've already got the real estate license, then you probably aren't doing that. You're probably doing it yourself, and you could get paid. You could pay yourself for representing yourself if you have a real estate license, but if you don't, you're not legally able to do that. So, look, if you haven't caught my drift so far, if you want to invest in real estate, but yet it seems out of reach to you, it feels like it's not something you could do within the immediate future, get in the process of getting your real estate license so you could start learning about real estate at a deeper level, and you could even make some money through real estate. Even while you work your current job, whatever it is that you're doing currently, you could do real estate in addition to that. You could do real estate part-time. You could do real estate on the side, on the nights or on the weekends or whenever it is that you're available. It's your own business. You set it up. You structure it how it is that you want. You work with as many or as few people as you want. You could pick and choose your clients even. There's a lot of flexibility that you have, which makes this 100% possible and accessible even if you already have a current job that you're doing and you just want to be able to do this on the side. Now, typically, you don't achieve as fast of a success as if you started it jumping in head first and going full time right from day one, but you get to maintain that stability that you have and continue that same trajectory that you have while spinning it off into a new line of income that you could be bringing in addition to what it is that you do on a daily basis. Or maybe you just want to replace with what you do right away, and you've got the savings and the credit and all that ready to go right away. You just need the knowledge piece. Whatever it is, wherever it is you may be at, we want to help you get started. Call us up, 813-333-2676. That's 813-333-2676. We have advisors standing by to answer any questions you have about anything it is that we could assist you with. We want to help you get started with your real estate career, and we don't want to just sell you a licensing course. We want you to be successful for the life of your real estate career. That's why we do these episodes every week. We've got Ask the Instructor on Wednesdays, State of Real Estate on Fridays, 100% free, even if you're not a student of ours. Make sure you hit that bell icon so you get notifications whenever we have one of these videos out there to help you better understand real estate, because we want to see you successful. That is our goal. Our success is your success. So we want to help you become successful because that is what makes us more successful. So we're here for you as well for the life of your real estate career to help support you and guide you along the way. Call us 813-333-2676 or check us out online at tampaschool.com. Look, that's about all the time we've got for today. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you on Friday for State of Real Estate. Hey, so if you're thinking about starting a real estate career, it could feel a little overwhelming sometimes. Look, that's completely understandable. That's why we're here to help. If you haven't already, check out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success, or if you don't even know where to begin, give us a call. We'd love to help you out. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. Our phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. Give us a call. We're the Tampa School of Real Estate.
Do you want a career that allows you to be in control? With a career in real estate, you'll get to call the shots. Whether you're looking at starting part-time or want to become the next top agent, a career in real estate makes it possible. Find out what it takes at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrisma with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can. Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.